All right, George, take it away.
Good. I'm George, K1IG. I've been licensed since 1962, and I was in the Navy for about 30 years or so, during which time I was on a lot of surface ships and was also running communication stations around the world. And I see you have Adrian there from New South Wales. I've been down there many times to Newcastle, Sydney, and Wollongong, and many trips out to the West Coast too. So been out to Exmouth and Perth and around there too. So I'm pleased to be here and going to talk about Logbook of the World under the hood, and uh, it's directed at kind of getting you better acquainted with what's going on in Logbook of the World. I know there are a lot of frustrations that we'll talk about, and when I give this presentation at clubs. If I can start there we go. Uh, I ask people what their experience is with it. And usually it's in three groups: the experienced users, the people who have never used it, and then there's usually a large contingent of people who have tried it and hated it because they just couldn't get the thing to work. And the Logbook of the World doesn't do a lot to help you with this because when I've been to briefings on Logbook of the World, they usually start off with a slide like this, showing you here's the Logbook of the World website. Just follow those easy to follow directions for on this page and the following 45 pages, and just do that in the usual way, and soon you'll be up and running. And this is the initial frustration I think that people have. It's just they see this as just too formidable to get started with, and it's just not worth the effort. But if you understand how this thing works, which you'll see it really isn't that hard to understand, you'll see it's pretty easy to use, and if you know how to use it well, it'll even help you make contacts. And you wonder how can a logbook program help you make contacts? Well, we'll see how that works. So in Logbook of the World, this little background, it's used worldwide, more than 200,000 users for both QSLs and awards. And the hallmark of this thing is integrity. They're trying to make sure that the contacts that are shown there and the confirmations are in fact valid and there's no fraud going on. There are several other online programs that are rampant with fraud and are are just untrustworthy for confirmations or awards. But the Logbook of the World makes a lot of effort to make sure that the contacts that you get confirmed are trustworthy. So it's called a logbook, but is it really a logbook? Not really. It's not really a good logbook for keeping track of your contacts because there's a lot of data that it doesn't have. It just has basic data for making a QSL confirmation. It's got actually a collection of three databases which are somewhat connected, uh, which enable confirmation and checking of contacts. We'll see what we mean by somewhat connected because that often causes confusion as well. Uh, each of the databases has its own inputs and outputs, and there is some connectivity between them. So what we're going to do here is just kind of show you some block diagrams. We're not going to get to the actual logbook of the world website until about two-thirds or more through the presentation, because what we're going to do is talk about the underlying structure of it and how it works and what's going on. And the intent here is to understand it, to enable you to use it better and more easily and just get more familiarity with it. But the big intention here is to eliminate the frustrations that people have when they try and use it. So what are these frustrations? Uh, they're probably pretty well known to a lot of you. It's a pain to load the QSOs. You have to go through too many hoops. It's too hard to get access. Um, Talking about hoops you have to jump through, it seems like the process is just too long and too involved just to get access to the thing in the first place. Some people will say, well, gee, I'm not a DXer, I'm not a big contester. Why should I bother? And we'll see that you do want to bother because, again, it'll help you make contacts, and you never know what may happen down the line with your DX experiences here. One frustration people have, they go in and they query the logbook, and they do it one time, and they say that it told me that this contact was confirmed, and they queried it again, and it said it wasn't confirmed. So what's going on with that? And finally, gee, this thing is run by the league, so it must be a ripoff. But as we'll see, it's one of the great bargains in ham radio. If you have any questions during this, just butt in and I'll try and answer it as we go along. So a long time ago, prior to Logbook of the World starting, back in about 1937, and then starting again up, there was go on hiatus until World War II is over. But people were interested in getting awards for their contacts. And the way it was done was you'd amass a pile of QSL cards and you'd go to your local QSL card checker, who was usually an experienced ham in your neighborhood, or you could send these off to headquarters in Connecticut, and they would have a human who would verify them and make sure that this thing was valid. And then it would go into a big database. And if you accumulated enough contacts and paid a little bit of money, you could get a certificate for your 100 contacts or beyond that. And again, the QSL card checker was the person who was giving the integrity of this thing. This is an experienced ham who could recognize a fraudulent card or a real card and verify that this actually was a valid contact that occurred when you said it did. So this was so successful, they used the same thing for the Worked All States Award. The only difference between then and now is that now there's an online application that you go and fill out, but you take all of that then with the cards to the card checker, and then they send. All they have to do is send off the application to the league, and in fact now it's used for all kinds of awards. They've taken over the Worked All zones from CQ magazine, added on the VUCC awards. So it's a big operation, but it all runs pretty much the same way. And going back here, this system is still in use. If you want to get a DXCC award, you can still do it this way. You can amass your QSL cards, fill out the online application, go see your card checker in town, and then they mail it off to the league, and you spend a little money and you'll get the award. Now, the convention I'm going to be using here is this red and green. The red shows that it's a private database, and the green shows it's a public database. So the awards database is mainly private. Only you can see that. But there's a little bit of there in green that will show you where anybody can go in there online and see part of your database. Again, this is still in use. However, if you're going to do it this way, be prepared to wait a long time and spend a lot of money. Back in the old days when we used the QSL bureaus, it could take 2 to 3 years to get a confirmation for a contact. And if you do it now by direct mail, you'll be spending at a minimum of $5 per confirmation, and sometimes upwards of 10 or 15 if you have to apply a suitable bribe to get the card back. But you can do it. It just takes years and what's a whole lot of money. So the awards database, you can go to the league website, arl.org, and if you drill down, if you go to on the menu tab, go to on the air and then hit awards, DXCC and DXCC standings, you'll see this page where all of the possible awards are listed, and then you can click on the paper size, either the US size or the European size, and you'll see a page like this. So here's for the mixed awards. This is just the first of about 70 or 80 pages that show the mixed awards. And everybody who has attained that award and what their standing is for how many confirmations they have. Now, note here, it doesn't show you what stations they work. It just shows you a raw number of how many they have confirmed. But this is available to anyone, whether they're a league member or not. And you can go in there and see what the standings are. If you've got at least 100 contacts worked and you had it checked by the checker, you'll be in this database. So again, this awards database is still in use. However, with the internet appearing, QSLing began to change about 20 years ago. And back then they had an idea, maybe we can streamline this a little bit. So can we do this electronically? there's this internet thing, and it looks like it may be around for a while. So maybe we can use this to create an online database for the awards and the QSLs and the QSOs. But the main thing we have to do is maintain the integrity of the whole program to make sure that we have at least um, the same amount of checking going on, maybe by a human or by a machine, to verify that there is no fraud and the contacts are real. Again, this thing has been around since 1945, and the standards that they set back then we have to maintain, so that the awards will maintain their relevance through the years. It's been around now about 70 or 80 years, and we want to be sure that the people who earned it a long time ago are still showing up as valid, and the new ones are valid just like they were back then, too. So the way we're going to do this is that there's a new database. It's not the awards database, but it's the your QSOs, and this is fed by the internet, and it's also fed by you. You have an input there as well, and if there's a match between what the ham on the internet is saying and what you are saying, you'll get a confirmation for it. Now, to make sure that we have this integrity, there's another piece there, this TQSL program, which is an app that you get from the league. It's free, but sits in your computer. And this is going to be used to be the interface between you and the your QSO's database, and will guarantee the integrity of what you are saying, and that only you can enter cards from your call sign. And also, this will take care of a lot of the entries that you have to make, too. So you get this QSL, the TQSL application from the league. Just do a search for TQSL in the search box there, and you'll get this, the program. It's free, and the app guarantees that only you can upload your contacts. If you're familiar with cryptography, this uses a public key system. So there's a piece of crypto material that sits in your computer, matches up with what the lead computer has, and verifies that only you are the one who is uploading contacts to the database. This thing is probably the biggest cause of frustration because, again, due to the amount of integrity they want to have on this thing, they do make it hard on you to verify who you are. But once you do it just one time, then it's good almost forever. But you got to jump through those hoops the one time and make sure that you can verify who you are. So to get it and install it, several steps here. We download the app and install it on your computer. Then you request this digital certificate, and the app will do that for you. A few days later, you'll get a postcard from ARL with instructions and a validation code. You follow the instructions on the card, go to a special website, use your validation code to get registered. And then a few days after that, you'll get an email with your username and a password and this call sign certificate. So you use TQSL to load your certificate into your computer. Now we'll go through the steps here to show you that it's not really as hard as it looks here, but there are several hoops that you do have to jump through. So when you first get the program and load it for the very first time and try to run it, it'll come up with this alert saying you don't have a certificate installed on the computer. You want to request one. So you go ahead and hit yes. And then when you hit yes on there, it will start the process to fill out the form online. So you'll get the next screen, which will have this, and you'll enter in your own personal data on there. And then for the date of the first QSO, usually that's the date that you got your current license. If you had another license, you can have a beginning date and an ending date. But usually, if you're doing this for the first time, you'll just use your first license, and you can go back later and fill in request certificates for other licenses. So a few days after you do this, you'll get the postcard from the league, and you follow the instructions on the postcard. So then when you bring up TQSL again and you're ready to load, it'll look like this. And You'll bring this up and you'll say, okay, I want to load the certificate. And the one caveat here is that this computer you use for this has to be the same one you use to request the certificate. When you ran this for the first time and installed a few hidden cookies on your computer, that it'll check here to see that you're still running the same computer. So if you had a shack computer, say, that you used to request a certificate, but you've got an office computer you're using to go through this, it won't work. You've got to do it on the same computer that you use to request the certificate. So now we've loaded the certificate, and as you can see here, I've had several that I have loaded in there. And each certificate you get is good for 3 years. When it's about to run out, you'll get a notification via email that it's about to expire. And then all you have to do is bring this up and hit renew, and then it will send off another request to the league. You don't have to do much more than click that button, but you'll get another email a few days later with a new certificate in it that you can load, and so you can be current. One thing you want to make sure is that your certificate doesn't expire, because you do get a bit of grace period, but you may have to go through the same steps. If you let the thing expire for several years or so, you'll have to go through the same steps to request a new one, and the same thing again. So it's easier just to make sure that you renew the certificate, because this is really a painless process. So with that, we said frustration was it's too hard to get access. Granted, there are some hoops you have to jump through, but you only have to do this one time. And once you've done this, then after this, every 3 years, you just click the button again to renew the certificate, and you just load the new one in. So I hope we've eliminated that frustration. So now we're in the system. You got TQSL loaded, and you got a good certificate. So now what we want to do is load QSLs. And there are 3 ways to do this. You can do it the hard way, you can do it the very hard way, or finally, you can do it the easy way. So let's go through what these methods are. First, the hard way. We're going to use TQSL again, but you've got to create this ADI file from your logger. And most loggers now know how to do this. You just highlight all the QSOs you've got and tell it to create the ADI file. Then when you got that, you'll bring up TQSL again and click sign a log and upload it to Logbook of the World. Then when you've done that, it will upload the file, or you can also go to the Logbook of the World website and upload it there. But the steps here are, first, you've got to use your logger to create the file, and then upload it to Logbook of the World, and then it will show up on their website. Okay, that's the hard way. The very hard way is to do it one by one, where you're going to bring up TQSL and you're going to click create an ADF file right there. And then you're going to go through one by one and manually enter all your log data for each contact, and then hit OK at the bottom, and then upload another one. You can see this is going to take you a long time to do. But if you've just got, say, one contact to load, or maybe you want to correct the log somehow, you can use this to do that. And it's cumbersome, but it's not all that bad if you've just got one or two. So that's the hard way and the very hard way. The easy way, though, is to let your logging program do it. Most of the heavyweight loggers now can interface with the QSO database and automatically upload to Logbook of the World as soon as you hit the button to log the contact into your logger. I've got a few of them listed there, but again, most of the loggers know how to do this now, and they greatly simplified the whole process for it. So you can make this kind of painless. In fact, just it's no more problem than just hitting the button on your logger and getting it uploaded to Logbook of the World, and the logger will also get the confirmations from Logbook of the World too, and fill that into your logger and show that the contact has been confirmed. So we said loading QSOs is a pain. The first two ways are kind of a pain, but doing it this way, it's really not a pain at all. So we hope that frustration goes away too. Okay, so now we've talked about two different databases, the awards database and the Your QSOs database. And again, these are separate databases and they can be linked. When you first bring this up, you'll see a window on the Logbook of the World website that will ask, do you want to link your database? You click yes, and then it will link these together so that the Your QSOs will show up in the awards database, and you can use those to get awards. And it costs about 12 cents a piece to make that to get them linked. But compare that to the $5 to $15 or so for doing a mail QSL, and you can see this is actually a great bargain. One thing to know here, though, is that the QSL cards only show up in the awards database. So if you work somebody who is not in Logbook of the World, and this is pretty common for a lot of the, especially for the foreign hams who aren't in Logbook of the World, you can get the QSL card, but you got to go through the manual process to go to the card checker and then send it off to the league, and then it'll show up in the awards database. But it won't show up in the Your QSOs database. So if you are going to query the database to see, did I work this guy or not? And you go, say you worked, I had one in the Marianas Islands that I had worked, and I got a QSL and it shows up in the awards database. But if I go into the Your QSOs database and say, did I work this guy? It'll say you didn't work him. But if I go into the awards database, it'll say I did work him and I got the confirmation. And this is that frustration previously of where you said one query told me the contact was confirmed and then another said it wasn't. This is why, because these are two databases and they only talk in one direction. So again, if you go into the awards database and you've done the linking and you've paid the fee to get the QSO transferred, it'll show up in the awards database, but the QSL cards will never show up in the Your QSOs database. And I'll show you some examples of how you can see that, in fact. So that frustration should go away. The frustration is still there, but at least you understand now what is happening. So one thing, this Your QSOs database can output to other online databases as well. Since you're a DF group, I know a lot of you probably use ClubLog and QRZ.com. You can upload contacts or download contacts from the Your QSOs database into those too. So for an example, here's QRZ.com, and QRZ.com has got their own set of awards, and they can accept the contacts and confirmations from Logbook of the World for these. So to do that, you'll go to your own call sign, then click on Logbook and Settings, and you'll see this window. And then you can click Import to import your confirmations from Logbook of the World, but it only does it from the electronic database. It won't do it from the awards database. It only can get the electronic one. So if you've got contacts were confirmed with QSL cards, they will never show up in QRZ.com as confirmed contacts. QRZ.com has been asked about this. Are they going to someday be able to use cards for confirmations? And they say, no, they aren't. This would be too much of a hassle for them. They just want to be all electronic, so they're not going to get into the card business at all. So if you're expecting to be able to confirm, get their awards with your cards, you just won't be able to do it. And then they got this export. You can export from QRZ.com to Logbook of the World, but they only export the QSO data. They don't export any confirmations at all. The confirmations in Logbook of the World have to come through their system. So if you've got a contact, if some guy is in QRZ.com, but not in Logbook of the World, and he confirms in QRZ.com, it'll show up in Logbook of the World. You've got to get the confirmation from him some other way, either Logbook of the World or a card. So we've talked about two databases, and I said there were three. The third one is this last upload database, and you can see it's in green, so it's very public. And what this does, it keeps track of the last time that anybody accessed the Your QSO's database and uploaded a contact. Uh, it shows you in there when this station did an upload. It won't show you how many contacts they uploaded or what contacts they uploaded. So if you want to know if they uploaded yours, there's no way to tell unless it shows up as a confirmation. All it shows is when a station last made an upload to QRZ.com. However, this one can also be accessed by other programs, especially by Grid Tracker. And as an example, this is the Grid Tracker interface if you're into FC8. And on the left side there, you see there's just to the right of the call signs, there's a Logbook of the World column there that shows you what each station status is with Logbook of the World. And the legend here, the check mark, green check mark, shows that this station has used Logbook of the World, and they've used it fairly recently in a time frame that you'll be able to specify. If they've got a question mark, it means that at some time they did use Logbook of the World, but it's outside of your specified window. And then if it's just blank there, it says that they're not a Logbook of the World user. So to specify what that window is, you'll go up to settings, and a new window will open up here. And you can use that slider to specify between, I think it's 3 months and 2 years, what will constitute a green check mark for you. Most people will keep that down at the lowest point there. So, for example, I've got it there set on 3 months. So all those green check marks mean that those stations have used Logbook of the World and uploaded something within the last 3 months. Now, you don't know how many they've uploaded or what they did, but they have at least gone in there and uploaded a contact to Logbook of the World. So how does this work for you then? Well, let's say you want to work England and you want to get a confirmation. So there are three stations there who are listed in Grid Tracker, and one of them, Mike 0 Lima Romeo Yankee, has got a green check mark, which means he's used Logbook of the World in the last 3 months. The G4YLJ used it maybe 10 years ago or so, but you don't know. And then the last guy there, 2 Echo 0 Tango Zulu Whiskey, has never used it. So if you wanted to work the contact for an award, which one are you going to pick to work? And it looks like Mike 0 LRY is making contacts, and he's in contact with N8HRZ. The other two guys are just calling CQ into ether. Maybe it's because they don't use a confirmation program. So is it really worth your efforts to work this guy if you're not going to get a confirmation? Which is why I said earlier, if you know if you're in Logbook of the World, this may help you make contacts, especially on these digital modes where people will check this thing to see if you're actually going to confirm the contact with them. Okay, so let's move on. I told you we'd finally get to the Logbook of the World website at some time. So it's time to dig in there and see how this thing's working. So here's Logbook of the World, and in the tabs there at the top is the Your QSO's database, the awards database, and the find call database, which is actually the last upload database. So clicking on the Your QSOs, we'll see this window, which will open up for you. And here you can enter a call sign to see if you ever worked this guy and if he's confirmed. You can also enter an entity, any of the 340 there, and see if you work them. Once you enter something in the call sign worked or the entity, you can hit submit, or you can leave all those blanks and just hit most recent QSLs or most recent QSOs, and it'll show you a big table of the most recent contacts you made or had confirmed. This is extremely useful after a big contact or a big contest. You're trying to see who has confirmed my all these QSLs that I had with these guys. So, for example, here's one where I clicked on at the DXCC entity. And this is showing the 3 stations from Anguilla who have confirmed electronically. I've gotten a lot more contacts with Angry. I got a lot of cards, so they will never show up here because it's the wrong database. This is the Your QSO's database. It only shows the electronic confirmations and doesn't show the cards. There, so these queries will not show QSL card confirmations, only the electronic ones. Moving on to the awards database, each award can be viewed. So if we want to select the DXCC account, we can click on there, and we can see this for the next screen showing what the what the work stations worked and the stations confirmed are. In the first column, I'm showing here the contacts that have been confirmed but haven't been awarded yet, meaning I haven't paid the 12-cent fee. And you can see it's got a total of 9 contacts there that are confirmed but not awarded yet. The second column, once I make the application and pay the fee, then the contacts will then move over to this column. They won't be there for more than about a day or so before they're finally processed. Then they move into the third column. So this third column shows the DXCC contacts that have been awarded, including QSL cards and deleted entities. This is the number that shows up in that awards database. If remember the slide I showed earlier that had the pages showing all the awards, this is the number of contacts showing up in that database. So it's all the QSL cards plus the electronic cards plus deleted entities as well. And then the next column is the total showing the sum of the credits awarded plus the new contacts that haven't been processed yet. So, for example, on the digital line there, it shows I've got 3 new contacts, 184 awarded for a total of 187, which is also the total current. In the one above that, the line above for phone, it shows I've got 156 awarded for a total of 156, but only 155 are total because one of the contacts I had is a deleted entity, so it won't show up anymore. So the last column is the total current entities for a max of 340. Now you're wondering why do they have that? It's because for the DXCC Challenge Award, they only look at current entities. So that's why they're keeping track of that number for the DXCC Challenge. So the last line, the last column there is the current plus the awarded plus the new LOTW QSLs. But again, the third column over there, the DXCC credit awarded, is the one that will show up in the awards database if anybody from the outside accesses the DXCC standings. And you can click on any of the awards to see your confirmed entities. And again, this will show all of them, the electronic plus the cards. So to get credit for those new QSL that I want to get credit for and have them transferred over to awarded, you just hit application, and then you'll get a screen like this where you just click on the QSOs you want to get awarded and hit continue, and then it'll give you a page or so of instructions, and so they'll want some credit card info to make the award. You see it's 12 cents plus an administrative fee. The administrative fee is several dollars, so it behooves you to wait until you've got a lot of contacts here to minimize the cost that you're going to have to pay. You don't want to be doing this for every contact you get confirmed. Just do it in big chunks or in groups of, say, 50 or 100 or so. Okay, we said one of the frustrations was it's a big ripoff. Well, at 12 cents a piece, this is actually a fantastic bargain. It's going to cost you for DXCC $12 to get everything confirmed. That's sometimes just the cost of a single QSL if you do it by mail. So that one goes away too. So finally, the last update database, that's the fine call. Here you can look and see what the last time was that anybody has uploaded to logbook of the world. So, for example, I put in mine here, and this is pretty old, but it says, okay, May 20th was the last one. You can use it. Yeah, I use this often to see if somebody that I've worked has made the upload to uh, Logbook of the world for my confirmation. Sometimes it shows that, say, I worked the guy and he made an upload a week later, but I don't show up. So this might be worth an email to him to find out why he uh, missed me. And let's see. Again, it just shows the date and time only. If you have an unconfirmed QSL and the last upload is after that, then you'll want to investigate. Send the guy an email or find out why he hasn't uploaded your call sign. It may be you have to do it through Club Log through OQRS and pay a fee or something for that. But you want to find out why he hasn't uploaded. I have found this useful. There are times when a guy just forgot to upload my QSL info, and when I queried him, he did make the upload for me. So, some things to know at the end. If your certificate has expired, you need to consult the help files or give a call to the league, and they can help you out. You can have several call sign certificates active at the same time. If you've changed call signs and moved around the country a lot, you can have several. You saw I have four that are active right now. You can install your certificates on multiple computers. Once you get it installed on one, you can make a backup file and transfer it to several other computers. So you can have it going on your shack computer, your office computer, or wherever else you want to have it, a portable computer to maintain backup copies. If you change your location, if you move or go on a POTA or some other portable operation, you want to go into TQSL and update your grid square information before you do any uploads. Then do the upload for your portable contacts and go back to TQSL and change it back to what your home QTH is. And last, the only sure way to know if someone's using Logbook of the World is to use the Find Call Sign tab on the Logbook of the World. TQS or QRZ has got a column in there saying, does this guy use Logbook of the World? But that's just something they can fill in themselves. And I found many times that QRZ will say they use it, but they actually don't because they just fill it in the QRZ to see if that'll help them make contacts. But the only sure way is to go in and check that the tab. So with that in mind, the last frustration was why bother? People say, well, I'm not a DXer, I'm not a contester, so why should I bother to do this? Well, someday you may want to hunt awards, and you're going to want to use this information to get those awards. The other station may need your grid square or your state or your country. So he wants to get his awards, so he's going to need your grid square or your country or wherever to get his award. So it's kind of a courtesy that you're doing. We used to have an amateur's code, I think it still exists, where they say the final courtesy of a QSO is a QSL. So this is the way you can QSL. The QSL cards are kind of rare now, but these electronic loggers or databases are the way that people are going. And Logbook of the World, again, is the one that's trying to maintain the most integrity. So with that, the frustration goes away, and what shows up is your reward. So with that, let me go out of here, stop sharing. And well, no, before I do that, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Sam, so the QSOs from the TQSL, they don't have anything to do with awards themselves. You have to have those uploaded to Logbook of the World. Is that correct?
Yeah, let me go back. Let's see. It'll take a second to find this. Just got to find the database slide again. Okay, let me go here. So the two databases, awards and your QSOs. The your QSOs are the electronic ones, and whether or not you paid the fee, you'll be able to see if the station has confirmed your contact. In fact, let me go down to here. One more. Here we go. Okay. This chart on the new LOTW QSLs. These are the contacts that have been confirmed, but you haven't paid the fee to get them transferred over to credits awarded. Once you've got them into that credits awarded column, then you can go ahead and apply for the award.
Okay.
But you can't do it until they've been transferred over. And
Okay.
when you
But
when you go to, let's see, here for the application, it'll show you which ones are, like here I've got those 9 in the new LOTW QSLs column, and they show up here. And so if I check those off, pay the fee, I can get them transferred over to the credits awarded column, and then that'll qualify for the award.
okay, but if I don't pay the fee to transfer them from the TQSL to Logbook of the World, they just sit there.
They will
Okay.
sit there. They will always be there, but
Okay.
they won't qualify for the award.
Okay. Because I just did a quick calculation, and it would be a god awful amount of money to make that worthwhile to
Okay,
do
now,
that.
well, you don't have to upload them all. Like for DXCC, you need 100. So you may have worked, say, 5,000 contacts, but you don't need to upload all 5,000. You only need to upload 100. So you just pick out let me go here. So you can pick out exactly which one you want to upload. Like for British Virgin Islands, I've worked them twice. They were on different
Okay.
bands, but if I just wanted to get a DXCC award just for working them one time, I just have to check one.
Okay. Because I guess my other question is, if you don't upload your TQSL um, contacts to the Logbook of the World, then they won't be available to somebody else to verify their contacts with you, correct?
No, if you have made a contact and you upload it to TQSL, the other station will see it in his new LOTW QSLs, and he can uh, make the application to get it transferred over. So
Oh, okay.
uh,
Okay.
he is not dependent on you getting the credit awarded. He does that himself.
So he goes and pays the fee to have it verified and added to his count.
Right. So for these
Okay.
um, for the stations like the DXpeditions who will make say 100,000 contacts, they're not going to pay to get 100,000 contacts uh, transferred over. In fact, they may not pay to get any. But it will show up in your account as having been confirmed once they upload it to
And
Logbook
then,
of the World.
well, I guess that's my question. If you don't, okay. So does it cost you anything just to transfer your contacts from TQSL up to Logbook of the World?
No, no, you can upload for free. And once you've uploaded, then it'll show up there in the new LOTW QSL's contacts. So you can keep track of how many confirmations you've got.
Okay, okay,
And
but okay, that I guess that was my biggest question is that you can upload your contacts to Logbook of the World from TQSL free, but it's
right,
only if you use them to get an award that you have to pay for that contact.
right,
Okay,
correct.
all right.
And you only have to upload the bare minimum to get the award. Um, let's see some things on that, some related things. If you find that you made a mistake in your upload, let's say were off by a day or an hour or something like that, you can upload it again with the new data. So those if you upload if you those you'll now have two contacts showing up in Logbook of the World as having been made. There's no way to go in there and edit your database. The league does not want the users to edit. You can always add new contacts, but you can't subtract any. But it doesn't really matter because the other station is going to upload, say, his correct data. So you'll get one confirmation, even though you've got two QSOs showing up in there.
Okay. So that's where the logging programs come in. They're actually bypassing the TQSL and taking those contacts and going to Logbook of the World.
They don't bypass TQSL. One thing you have to do if you've got one of those loggers that's interfacing with Logbook of the World, you have to tell it where in your computer the TQSL program is, because what it does is accesses the app, the TQSL app, to again, this is part of the integrity. It will access that app when it makes the upload.
Okay, and then it sends from after that's done, it sends it up to Logbook of the World for you.
Yes, and
Okay.
one more thing: if you're a big donor to the league, all this is free. There are no fees for the uploads or the awards.
Okay. Okay. All right, I was just curious how that worked, because the way I was looking at it is it was going to cost me money to upload from TQSL to Logbook of the World, and I have a lot of contacts I haven't sent there yet.
Yes. So again, you can upload contacts to your heart's content for free, but it's only if you want.
Use them until you pay for them.
You can't get credit for the award, right?
Till you pay for it,
right? And again, it's about 12 cents a piece.
And that's that 12 cents a piece plus handling fee or whatever.
Right.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, then with that, let me stop sharing here. And we're back here. Let me say I was pleased to be here. I know that it looks like you're all experienced DXers, so you're probably in that first group of people who use Logbook of the World, but I hope you were able to pick up some useful hints here and especially be able to mentor some others who may just be starting out in this and are asking questions about it.
Hey, George, I do have a couple of questions here for you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
The first question I have is for those that do go to different locations, whether it's parks in the air or they do, different locations. How do you go about doing that? How do you mentioned you added an additional place, and I'm not sure I follow that.
Okay, you've got TQSL installed on your own computer, so you'll bring that up, and it's got a tab there for station information, and there you enter what your grid square is. Or your state or address. So if you're maintaining your same call sign, but you move across country, you can enter a new address in there. And the reason for this is that the people who work you, who are trying to hunt grid squares, want to know where you are. And so you can indicate that it's easy to change it in TQSL once you bring the program up. But then the important thing is when you're back from the POTA, go back and be sure to re-enter, and you've made your upload, you go back and re-enter where your home station is.
Okay. The second question I have is if I wanted to put together a leaderboard of our club members and where they are in their DXCC rankings, is there a way to do that?
There's no easy way that I know of. You got to bring up that the awards database sheet, and you might be able to write a program that can scan that for your own club members.
Okay.
But I know of no way to. There's no automated way that I know of to be able to go into Logbook of the World and see what everybody's standing is for a small group.
KLUIT people who know how to do that, I'm going to be looking for you.
Yeah.
Hey, George.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
George.
Yeah.
WA1SXK Eric, comment.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess to answer that last question, I'm a member of the South Florida DX Association, and if you subscribe to Club Log, they have an automatic system that will show your club and all the members that have uploaded their contacts to Club Log. It'll put them in a list that will show their DXCC standings.
Hmm.
So that's a very good way to answer that last
Yeah, good.
question.
Okay. Yeah.
They automatically do it and they rank them, from the very top down, how many years it took to get there, so on and so forth. So
Right.
that was one thing I wanted to just mention. The other thing I wanted to mention is you mentioned about QRZ, and you said that you can log into QRZ, and it says here, click here to import your logbook of the world QSO database. One of the things I found over the, 7 years, 8 years that I've been involved in back in ham radio is that one of the things is the logbook of the world database allows duplicates. And if you have broken calls and all kinds of things. So I've taken my own logbook on log4om that I use and edit it and so on and so forth. So would it not be a better suggestion if you wanted to move your database, I'll call it, of your QSOs from your log and export an ADIF and then import that into QRZ instead of taking the database from Log4om, Logbook of the World, I'm sorry, because they don't let you edit anything, I guess, that goes up there. Am I understanding that correctly?
Right. But the way I understand it is the reason to upload to QRZ.com is to qualify for their rewards. So they're looking for confirmations. The way that they can get a confirmation, if two people are users of QRZ.com, and they both upload their logs through one way or the other, through their logger or however, then it'll show a confirmation. If a person is not a QRZ.com user, you can still get a confirmation because QRZ will believe the logbook of the world confirmation. So if you upload your logbook of the world database, it will be granted confirmation by QRZ.com. Whereas if you just uploaded your raw log, you won't show any confirmations in there.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. That's okay, gotcha
Yeah.
on that. Thank you, George. Appreciate it.
Okay.
George, a comment to reinforce something you said earlier.
Yeah.
If the bands are busy, at least for people that work digital, you can see whether or not the station that you're going to work is on Logbook of the World. And I, for one, if the band conditions are good, I'll ignore somebody that's not on Logbook of the World.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I do my confirmations. So I won't even bother to work those stations.
I completely agree. That's what I think most people do who are avid logbook of the world users, which is why you want to make an upload at least say once a month or so to logbook of the world. It just has to be one contact, and it can be the same contact over and over again. But you want to have that green check mark.
Well, George, I use N3FJP, which you didn't mention as one of the logging
Mhm.
programs, but it's so simple. It's one click. So every
Yeah,
time
right.
I'm shutting down for the evening or for the day, I'll just go there and you make one click and it uploads to Logbook of the World. And you can do a second click if you want to upload to a Club Log or even to
Right.
QRZ, which I don't do. But so it couldn't be any easier. And then sometime later, you click on the download from Logbook of the World back into your program, and it will show all the confirmed contacts that you now have.
Right.
So it couldn't be any easier.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah, I
again,
use as a Mac user, I use Mac Logger DX, and it does all that too. It'll either upload the contacts in real time, or if I'm in a contest and just I'm importing them from the contest program into Mac Logger DX, I can highlight a whole block of contacts, and it'll upload those to QRZ.com and ClubLog too at the same time.
well, after a contest is over, I simply create an ADIF file of that contest log. I import it into my
Mhm.
main log, and then I click upload, and all of those
Yeah.
are uploaded too. So again,
Right.
it just takes a couple seconds to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Am I making it? One comment or
Yes.
two comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, John, K9JK. You kind of glossed over the station location information. Another part of the integrity is that they try to, if you create a new station location, they try and verify that the grid square you're giving matches the state and county information that you put in there. So that's another part of the integrity section,
Hmm.
which is very handy. I do a lot of VHF roving, so I'm going all over the place, lots of different station locations,
Right. Yeah.
and that's a very very handy thing to look at. And also, there's some people there's different varieties of how people upload. Some people upload every single QSO, and then some people will upload an entire log and sadly re-upload the same entire log, and that's part of what causes some of the log jams. I call it a log jam because it's logs and it's logbook of the world, that you might see where all of a sudden no QSLs are being processed, or you're not getting any
Yeah.
confirmation that your QSOs are showing up. So, but
Mhm.
it's quite a system. I use it a lot with what I do, from contacts on 80 meters up through 47 gigs. So it's usable for VHF and microwave as well.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Let me just say there are a few things that are more satisfying than making a contact with some DX station, hitting your logger to log it, and then say hitting the confirmation button, and within about 10 seconds it shows up as confirmed, where showing that the other guy was in there too. And that sure beats waiting 2 or 3 years for a QSL card.
Yeah, or even if it's just a month or something, or a few
Yeah.
days or a few hours because of a log jam. I think
Mhm.
Rick Murphy recently described that it's a multi-lane highway, and if there's a big semi truck with 20,000 QSLs or QSOs being uploaded, well, you have 3 more lanes, but then you fill all 4 lanes or whatever with
Yeah.
20,000 QSO trucks. None of the small logs get through. So
Yeah.
be patient with it too.
Okay, that's all I have. If you like this, I've got another briefing on. I told you I was in the Navy for 30 years. I got one on giant antennas of the Navy that you might be interested in seeing sometime too.
All right, very good, George. Well, thank you for sharing your knowledge on Logbook of the World. You lived up to the top billing here, so thank you
Good.
for doing that and sharing all the
Mhm.
knowledge. It sounds like we had a ton of questions that got cleared up tonight, so it was a good thing that we had you. So
Okay, great.
hopefully we didn't
Good
keep you up too
see
late.
you all. Nope.
All right, thanks. And thank you everybody for attending our meeting this evening. And we hope you'll come back and join us next month on Tuesday, September the 8th, when we'll have NP4G talking about Desatio. So thanks for everybody. 73.
Thank you, Dick.